In the morning when I'm driving, I really come alive when I listen to my Ronnie, I listen to my Ronnie Q. They are rare and they are few who can compare with Ronnie Q. So grab a chair, she's coming through. She's on the air, it's time for Ronnie Q. They are rare and they are few who can compare with Ronnie Q. So grab a chair, she's coming through. She's on the air, it's time for Ronnie Q. Ronnie Q. It's time for Ronnie Q. Ronnie Q. It's time for Ronnie Q. In the morning while I'm driving, Ronnie, I really come alive when it's time for Ronnie Q. I listen to my Ronnie, Ronnie. I listen to my Ronnie. It's time for Ronnie Q. Take a seat and go meet Ronnie. Sweet, 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 sweet Ronnie. No day complete without my Ronnie. She can't be beat. Sweet, sweet Ronnie.
Hello. Let me remove this. Give me one moment. I apologize. What's going on? It's still morning here. It's late morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining me. Afternoon in some parts. Hey, them shake the body. Hey, detach myself. I appreciate you guys for being here. We have some interesting develops that have come up. I don't know if you guys are aware. 4547 is rebranding himself. If you guys are aware, that 4547 figures that it's time that he rebrands himself. So say hello to Rascal. That's Rascal. 4547 is rebranding himself, and he is going to be the new. He's still going to be, the same liar that he was, but he's going to be the new affordability playmaster. He is now rebranding his whole shtick to be the affordability person. Why is he doing that? Because he saw that overwhelmingly people voted for Zoran Mandami because that was his message. So he's co-opting Mandani's message as he enriches himself, his family, and people around him, and billionaires. As the whole United States is about to go, I don't even think it's plenty of the states are already in recession because they were already poor, already had no job choices in the first place. Now, I do believe, this is my personal opinion, that this if this continues, what is going on, the United States is going to be in a whole depression. See, these people on the Supreme Court, they've already heard the case about whether he had the authority to put all of these tariffs on under the guise of something that was an emergency. And now the Congress has already said that they uh, were going to. Uh, okay, Congress is in charge of the tariffs, and that never went before Congress because he used an emergency declaration because of some unheard of emergency to put all of these tariffs on all of these nations. That is ruining uh, the United States, and it is ruining your pockets every time you go to a store and everything is high. Now we saw 45, 47 on a 60 minutes this Sunday, and when the interviewer asked him about getting prices down. He said prices are down. He said no. When she said no, when people go to the grocery store, they see that prices are up. No, they're not. Prices are down. Groceries are down. See, he just wants to ignore the facts. But now all of a sudden, we are to believe this same person that said prices are down last Sunday in the when faced with reality that people's prices have gone up. Now he wants to be the affordability president. So I don't know if you guys are aware of that. Hey Lee, brand new, thank you for being here. I appreciate. And if you guys watched me yesterday, my internet connection went down. I don't. One of the towers went down in our area, and I couldn't get back on, and I apologize, but I thank you for being here. Now, uh, let me get into some of the things that also are going on. 45, 47 decided to save NVIDIA, the chip company that was about to crash, about to go out of business. But he decided to pump some of the United States currency in that company. And then he decided that, hey, if we're going to do that, we should own part of this company. I don't know who exactly is the we that got the ownership of the company. It was the United States Treasury that bailed this company out. But he brags about we own part of the company as if it's his own personal ownership. 50% that was purchased with our tax dollars. One second. So we this AI is kind of like these stable coins and meme coins. It's a highly unregulated entity. Uh, all you hear is about the rush to get AI, the rush to get a the rush to get a system up and ready that is going to take the jobs from the American people. A highly unregulated industry. So now I showed you the little circle jerk that these big tech CEOs and owners are doing to prop up the stock market. Nvidia gave invested 600 billion in Meta, which increased their shares $900 billion, and therefore Meta invested 400 billion in Amazon, and it increased their shares, and they are propping up the stock market by making these. We saw Mark Zuckerberg do it at the dinner table when he had all the big tech there, and well, how much are you going to contribute to the United States? How much are you going to contribute? He asked everybody, and they all sat there as if they were going to invest all of this money into the United States. Bullshit. And then Mike Zuckerberg, after he thought that the mics were off, he leaned over to 45, 47 and said, I didn't know how much you wanted me to say. So Mark Zuckerberg, when asked how much he was going to invest, he said 5 maybe $600 billion is what he said he would be investing, and then leaned over after it was over with. I didn't know how much you wanted me to say. A whole bullshit playing in our faces, playing he's going to invest this. An investment in America means that you are going to invest in getting jobs for people and all of this type of stuff. It was whole bullshit. So they're doing a whole uh uh circle jerk, trying to pretend that this economy is better than it is. See, this is what they don't want you to pay attention to. I just really hope you guys know that we are in great peril with this economy. Banks, nobody is buying our bonds. Usually, when a country is in peril, different entities, out of states investors, people who usually invest in things that we have on the stock market start buying U.S. bonds. They're not even buying U.S. bonds anymore. So if when they stop investing in our stock market and stop buying our bonds, our dollar is failing. So if you don't know, I'm just I told you, I showed you the information of how it works. Now it is actually in the process of working. They are talking about printing more dollars to stabilize the finances. Big banks, even though the feds dropped the interest rates, there are so many people that are going to banks to get loans that have shaky collateral. When the people and businesses are going to the banks to get loans, even though the feds dropped the interest rate, the banks are increasing the interest rates on money they are lending out. But of course, when the banks fail, our tax dollars always bails them out. So that's what's going on. I want to share, since I started with NVIDIA, the actual balls of NVIDIA. Where is it? Okay, let me share this with you. Well, let me share this with you. Trump focused on cultural issues amid high energy bills zaps the Republicans. This is on Axios. I will share a little of this. Now, he also said that our energy prices had gone down. And I told you that the biggest boom that this economy had this up until now was all of these data centers that they were building up, and these centers that plug into your energy grid, and then they split it evenly, even though the data centers are using 12 times the energy that your whole community that everyone on the grid were using before they plugged into your grid. But they are paying for it as if they are one and using 12 times as much as your whole city used. Okay, Democrats pocketbook pinch on energy prices handily won in Tuesday election, while President Trump and Republicans re-up their 2024 playbook focused on identity politics. You know, they focused on their racism. They focused on calling Mondami a communist and saying that he would be the next 9/11 in New York City if he was voted in. That got them absolutely nothing. To a man who was saying that he was going to make living affordable for you as a person living in his city. Why it matters. The bellwether election hint that the president's economic agenda and fixation on cultural wars may drag Republicans down in the 2026 midterm. Driving the news, Democrat notched two seats on a powerful but little known utilities commission in Georgia on Tuesday, winning roughly 63% of the unofficial vote, according to preliminary results from Georgia's Secretary of State. See, why did they win? The win marks the first time in nearly 20 years that Democrats have held a seat on the five-member board, a clear rebuke of the six rate hikes Republican members have approved in the past 2 years. So they have these Republicans sitting on these utility boards and approved six rate hikes to your bills in the past 2 years, as all of these data centers are plugging into your utilities and have these fucking motherfuckers in there letting them increase your bill. Not making sure that these data centers with their billions of dollars make their own power grid so they don't plug into you. Okay, so two of them lost their seats. In Virginia, in Virginia's governor race, Democrat Abigail Spanberger hammered home the need for cheap, clean energy. These windmills, they're so horrible, and I got rid of the windmills. The windmill that gives you power and charge you less, that these data centers cannot plug into. This clean energy, why did this buffoon hate clean energy so much? Because the data centers are not plugging into it. Okay. Okay. Cheap, clean energy and making data centers pay their share in power costs. Okay, that's what happened in Virginia. Democrats Mikey Sherrill won the New Jersey governor's race with a promise to freeze utility rates and build out renewable energy. Okay, the big picture is Republicans' MAGA-driven cultural attacks didn't land in races that had seldom to do with identity politics, as one of the losing GOP energy commissioners admitted in the weeks before Election Day. We're attempting to scare our Republican base, Tim Echols told the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Echols later questioned the strategy, adding that he had to give Democrats credit for tapping into the voters' anger over power bills. Now, you're going to hear this administration. Well, if you watch that 60 Minutes interview, you will hear 45, 47 deny that costs have gone up. But see, when people get sick of the bullshit and get up off of their asses and vote these people out, now they're admitting the obvious. Everybody can now admit the obvious. The latest Democrats hope to widen what they see as a political opening on power prices. Party members on Congress' Joint Economic Committee on Thursday released a report projecting that the average U.S. household will pay $100 more for electricity in 2025. But Georgians using the state largest electric power provider whacked with a $518 bill increase per year, or roughly 33% rise on the average. In New Jersey and Virginia, residents saw their electricity prices increase by 21% and 13% respectively between August 2024 and 2025, according to data from the Energy Department. What they're saying, voters across the country just sent a clear message. Their bills are too damn high. Climate Power spokesperson Alex Glass told Axios in a email statement. Okay. No, so let me see the other side. Trump told voters that Democrats were going to make their energy costs soar in a Truth Social post on Monday. Why would anyone vote for New Jersey and Virginia gubernatorial candidates Mikey Sherrill and Abigail Spanberger when they want transgender for everybody, men playing in women's sports, high crime, the most expensive energy prices almost anywhere in the world, he questioned. After both Democrats won, 4547 brushed off the losses on social media Tuesday night, writing that Republicans only lost because he wasn't on the ballot and because of the government shutdown. The White House referred Axios to the president's remark on Wednesday, in which he reiterated that his administration is delivering an economic miracle. Yeah, a miracle of tragedy. It's a miracle that is still standing. The Republican National Committee did not immediately respond to Axios' request for comment. The bottom line, a lot can change in the next year before midterms, but Democrats moving away from their 2024 pro-democracy message to rising utility bill is a strategy on a kitchen table issue that offers the party hopes. So now, now our president is going to focus on being the affordability person. The man who talks in billions is going to be your president, your great white hope for affordability. Now we are to believe. Let me. That link is in my description box. I wanted to let you guys know about that. Now let's get to how NVIDIA expects us. Hey Z Sarah, hey M Renee, hey Lady V. Glad you guys joined me. If you hear something new, those are my goals. You're more than welcome to tap on my goals. And uh, if you really want to support me, just hit the like button. And after the video is over, just give a little comment uh, uh, in the uh, in the comment section of this video after it's over. I greatly appreciate it. NVIDIA CEO says China is on track to win the AI race. Well, motherfucker, uh, why are you telling us this? Why is the NVIDIA CEO warning us about China winning the AI race as he was bailed out with our tax dollars? What the fuck we give a fuck about China winning the AI race when all y'all want to do with AI is to take our jobs after you took our tax dollars to win a race that we give zero fucks about? What we supposed to be scared? Oh, y'all be scared. We're not going to be able to win the race to deplete Americans' jobs. Well, that's good. Let China do what they do. I thought that your chip was the best chip, and therefore they didn't want China to have the NVIDIA chip because that was the chip of the future, and that was the only chip that could win AI and all of this, and that's why we're investing your American dollars into a failing company. That this failing company had the best chip, and we can't give it to China, and blah blah blah. Now this same motherfucker is coming out here telling you like you should give a damn that China is about to win the AI race. That's not our fucking job. That ain't nothing that's not nothing that's gonna hurt us. That's gonna hurt you and your company. So you telling us after we bailed you out, you still a fucking failure? But you sitting up in the White House talking about what you gonna invest in the country, knowing full well that it's bullshit. Okay, Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang, Jensen Hong, who is always out showing off his wealth and all of this, doing all of these little talks and all of this stuff. And Jensen Hong, I, I, I gave you guys an example of how the rich hide their money, how the rich make sure that their relatives, all the little things that they use to put their wealth into. So even their family members will not have to pay taxes on their wealth when it's passed on to them. All the loopholes that they have to hold on to their wealth. while using your tax dollars to fund their fucking businesses, and then the government tell you that they don't have money to give poor people Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps. This is what I'm telling you. That he think we supposed to give a fuck about China whooping his stupid ass. Okay. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang has sounded his loudest alarm about the U.S. falling behind China on AI, telling the Financial Times that China is going to win the AI race. Why it matters. The $1 trillion bet on AI success pushed by the Trump administration hinges in large parts on NVIDIA, the dominant maker of chips for AI computing. Hong warning reflects an apparent frustration with the mounting calls for regulations in the U.S. So, now, there are mounting calls for what? Regulation. So now, when people are saying that AI should be regulated, now he tries to light a fire. Oh, wait a minute, China's gonna win if I'm not able to do everything that I want to do unregulated. China's gonna win. Let me scare y'all. What? Why would that be scary for us? Exactly. Why would that be scary for us? Hmm? Would you are you scared that employers are going to buy the Chinese AI to get rid of all American jobs? We give zero fucks about AI. Well, I know I do. Okay, okay. What they're saying on the sidelines of a FT conference in London Wednesday, Hong said that states in the U.S. were considering new rules that could result in 50 new regulations, while Beijing was subsidizing energy costs to encourage local companies to run Chinese alternatives to his company's chip. So he's saying you don't even have regulation, but just the thought that there would be some common sense regulation on AI. He's saying that Beijing's going to beat us, and Beijing is supporting the Chinese alternatives to my chip company. Well, the United States supported your fucking failing business as well, but you're going to be regulated. He don't want no regulations. Okay, China is going to win the AI race, he told FT. In a statement to Axios later Wednesday, Hong said, I have long said China is a nanosecond behind American in AI. It's vital that America wins by racing ahead and winning developers worldwide. State of play. His comments follow the Trump administration's continued ban on sales of NVIDIA's most advanced chip to China, even after the president met with Chinese leader Xi. Hong has repeatedly emphasized the importance of the Chinese market not only to a lucrative 50 billion business opportunity for his company, but for the degree of research being done there. About 50% of the world's AI researchers are in China, he noted in August. See, he wants to have it both ways. He wants access to the China market, but he don't want any regulations in the United States. Okay, the vast majority of the leading open source models are created in China, Hong said, and so it's fairly important, I think, for the American technology companies to be able to address that market. We'll address that market, motherfucker. What is it? A capitalist state. If you can float your boat, if you can do business, you in business. The American people ain't the ones supposed to be the ones who sure up your motherfucking company for you to come back and take all their motherfucking jobs. If you can make it, you can make it. If you can't, you're not in business anymore. Isn't that the capitalist model when it comes to you and you opening a small business? But these motherfucking billionaires want you to prop up their companies and try to scare you like you should give a fuck that China is winning in AI. Catch up quick. quick. Hong has often referred to the competition over AI with China. At tech conferences in April, he said that China was right behind the U.S. in terms of its AI models per CNBC. Remember, this is a long-term infinite race, he said, and he has, and as as recently as NVIDIA conference in Washington, D.C. last week, Hong sounded more optimistic, saying it is absolutely the case that we can lose this race, but we are well ahead today. Let me see. What are we watching? Whether the NVIDIA CEO warning will prompt the Trump administration to take further steps to promote data center development and stave off state regulatory efforts. And he wants to stave off them having to pay and not plug in to your electricity. He's trying to stave off these regulations that they're going to put on these data centers to make them pay their weight. Okay, so there's that. I just wanted to share that with you guys if you guys were unaware of that. Let me see. There is one more thing. Now, you guys may remember I told you about the Heritage Foundation. Kevin Roberts. I have introduced you to Kevin Roberts many a time. Kevin Roberts, the head of the Heritage Foundation, and the little civil war they have brewing in the Republican MAGA camp. They want to be racist towards everyone except for Jewish people. If you criticize anything that has gone on in Gaza, if you criticize any Israeli policies, any of the things that the IDF has done over in Gaza, they want to say that you are, what is it? They want to say that you are anti-Semitic. They want to say, look, I can't even remember what the fucking, they are charging everyone with being anti-Semitic. If they say something about Israel, now they want to couch that as if you say something about Israel, which is the government, that you're saying something about Jewish people. You're saying something about the people as a whole. No, you're talking about the government and what the government is doing. You know how they wanted to, why they took student visas away, green cards away from anybody at these colleges that protested what was going on in Palestine. They said that, and one president, I forget, was forced to step down because of the protests at her school. I think it was at Columbia. Was forced to step down. You remember how uh, they got rid of the first female black president of Harvard because of the protesters. Elizabeth, I forget her name, Slotkin, up there trying to drag her about being anti-Semitic because people had a protest about what the government was doing in Palestine. Okay, so that's how they get down. So now, uh, they have Tucker Carlson of the voice of the right, who will hold up all of the lies of the right. Who lost his job on Fox News for, I think he lost his job on Fox News. Had one of the most successful shows on Fox News, heading up highlighting hate and division, and also holding up the lie that the Dominion voting machines changed votes in the 2020 election. And after they had to settle with Dominion voting because that was a lie they were spewing, they knew it was a lie. You hear text message come out by Tucker Carlson saying that he's glad he doesn't have to talk about 45, 47 anymore. He can't stand him. He's sick of the, but he sat up on there on his show every motherfucking day and told you that the election was stolen. It was rigged. They changed votes. And that he's one of the main reasons why Fox News had to pay the largest settlement in history, 900 something billion dollars, million, million dollars, almost $1 billion. Okay, so now Tucker Carlson, the apple of the right's eye, Heritage Foundation were so in love with him because he told the line. He told the line and told the lies to these people who consume nothing but Fox News and any lie that they're told. Now Tucker Carlson has a podcast. He invites people on, and he invited Nick Fuentes on. Nick Fuentes, who says that the Holocaust was not real, and a whole lot of overt racist shit about who, not Israel, about Jewish people specifically. So how do you think that worked out for Tucker Carlson? They wanted to cancel uh, Tucker Carlson, but then guess who came out in support of Tucker Carlson? The head of the Project Foundation. And he said that he's not going to cancel Tucker because, Tucker's a great friend and this, that, and the other. But what did he say about Nick Fuentes? What did he say about Nick Fuentes? See, they were mad that Tucker had Nick Fuentes, somebody, I think it was Mike Walsh or someone on his show that questioned the things that happened in Gaza, and Nick Fuentes, who is a whole anti-Semitic and don't try to hide it, and so they're like, how dare Tucker have them? We're gonna cancel Tucker, and then the Project 2025 founder of Heritage. He's not the founder. Head of the Heritage Foundation comes out and says you can't cancel Tucker, and there is a place for Nick Fuentes in the MAGA umbrella as well. So he came out. And so that lets you know that none of this is about anti-Semitism. It's about things just to get people mad as they take all of your money and support Israel, as they take all of your money and send it over to Israel, the Israelis who have universal health care, while they're taking health care and food stamps away from you. Now understand, 4547 said that he was going to take half of the money of the $5 billion that they have set aside for if something happened in food stamps. He was going to take that contingency money and pay half of the benefits. And then a judge came out and said that he must pay all of the monies that are owed to people on food stamps for November. And then what did he decide? He decided that no, he's not going to pay any of the money after he was told by a judge that you have to pay it all, not half. You got to pay it all. Now he says he's not paying none of it. But we're sitting over there sending all of this aid to Israel. And that now they want to talk about food stamps. Ain't nothing. Food stamps ain't got shit to do with this shutdown. But they can't do anything about food stamps. By law, they were supposed to do something about food stamps. But they snuck that part out of the USDA paperwork. They snuck it out. I showed it to you. Where it is absolutely a part of what the USDA is supposed to be doing during a shutdown. Why it had to go to court is because they wanted to make it a big deal, to make it seem like people who are getting on average $176 a month in food stamp are a drain on the United States economy, as they just sent Argentina $40 billion. But now they all of a sudden they don't have stuff, your money, to bail you out, the American citizens. You know the America First shit that they've been talking about, and he can sit up and have a Great Gatsby fucking ball for Halloween and not be in Washington D.C. trying to get this shutdown closed. Now, funny thing happened. After this election, now the Republicans are trying to make deals to get the government back open. Why? Because it is widely viewed as the Republicans' fault for why the government is shut down. And all of this shit that they thought that was going to be pretty, all of this shit that they verbally say is the Democrats' fault, over 70% of Americans believe that this rightly so, in my opinion, that the shutdown is the Republicans' fault, not the Democrats' fault. As much as they come out and say this is a Democrat shutdown, people are not buying it. People are sick of the bullshit. So I just wanted to share that with you. Now, let me share. Let me share this with you. Hey, Jill, the Project 2025 guy. Um, let's see what is going on. So he came out and he said that he is there is a place in the a Republican Party for Nick Fuentes as well. But that didn't go so well for him over at Project 2025. People quit. Uh, uh, they were questioning his leadership. They were actually wondering if he would even remain over there at Project 2025, if he would have to resign. Let's see what happened to old Kevin Roberts, trying to have it both ways, trying to hope, say Tucker was his friend, and here it is. Here's the story. Exclusive. I made a mistake. Heritage Foundation president apologized to staff for video refusal to cancel Tucker Carlson and throws shade at former chief of staff. Okay. I made a mistake and I let you down, and I let down this institution. Period. Full stop. Kevin Roberts told employees at a all staff meeting Monday. Kevin Roberts. This is the Project 2025 racist, in my opinion, founder who was over making sure they had a playbook for this administration that this administration is absolutely following. We talked about him as well. I made a mistake and I let you down, and I let down this institution. Period. Full stop. Heritage Foundation President Kevin Roberts told the staff of the conservative think tank on Wednesday. A think tank, that's what they call themselves. A week after he posted a video decrying a venomous coalition attacking the right-wing podcast host Tucker Carlson, and declaring the Heritage Foundation would always defend him against the slander of bad actors who serve someone else's agenda. Robert said he was willing to resign, but felt a moral obligation to repair the situation, and had to had to, wait a minute, to repair the situation, and had told the organization board directors, I made the mess, let me clean it up. Now, can we review his video decrying there was a venomous coalition after Tucker Carlson for having the white supremacist Nick Fuentes, what is his name? Nick Fuentes on his channel, and not challenging any of this I love Stalin talk and all of this shit that he spewed on his channel? It took me over to X. Let me share his statement. Oh, you got it. Okay. It's still sharing. Okay. Let me give you the volume of this statement so we can.
And as an American, is to Christ first and to America always. When it serves the interests of the United States to cooperate with Israel and other allies, we should do so, with partnerships on security, intelligence, and technology. But when it doesn't, conservatives should feel no obligation to reflexively support any foreign government, no matter how loud the pressure becomes from the globalist class or from their mouthpieces in Washington. The Heritage Foundation didn't become the intellectual backbone of the conservative movement by canceling our own people or policing the consciences of Christians. And we won't start doing that now. We don't take direction from comments on X, though we are grateful for the robust free speech debate. We also don't take direction from members or donors.
As he makes a comment on X, the intellectual he says that they are the they are the smart people, intellectual branch of MAGA, the intellectual brand of MAGA. This is who they think that they are. As he makes a comment on X, but he says that they don't take directions from X, but you're on X making excuses.
Though we are inherently grateful for their support, and we're adding more every day. This is the robust debate we invite with our colleagues, our movement friends, our members, and the American public. We will always defend truth. We will always defend America, and we will always defend our friends against the slander of bad actors who serve someone else's agenda. That includes Tucker Carlson, who remains, and as I have said before, always will be a close friend of the Heritage Foundation. The venomous coalition attacking him are sowing division. Their attempt to cancel him will fail. Most importantly, the American people expect us to be focusing on our political adversaries on the left, not attacking our friends on the right.
The right can do whatever it wants. Pay attention to the left. They are our adversaries. What is it? Adversaries? They are the people that we are against. Pay attention to our adversaries on the left. Don't pay attention to Nick Fuentes doing the things that you want to counsel students in colleges for doing far less for. That you want to take visas away from them. No, that was the excuses you gave. Could it be that these people were Muslim people? Could it be that these people were Muslim people having the audacity to be, to stand up for Palestinians? Okay, let's be clear.
I disagree with, and even abhor, things that Nick Fuentes says. But canceling him is not the answer either. When we disagree with a person's thoughts and opinions, we challenge those ideas in debate. And we have seen success in this approach as we continue to dismantle the vile ideas of the left. As my friend Vice President Vance said last night,
now, you notice he's talking about Nick Fuentes. We welcome these ideas. We want to have conversation as we work to stamp out the. He never called him once, Nick Fuentes once, vile, and then he pivots to having conversation with the left, saying that the left is vile. But he didn't say Nick Fuentes was vile. He said the left is vile. Let's hear that one more time.
Continue to dismantle the vile ideas of the left. Either. When we disagree with a person's thoughts and opinions, we challenge those ideas in debate. And we have seen success in this approach as we continue to dismantle the vile ideas of the left. As my friend Vice President Vance said last night, what I am not okay with is any country coming before the interest of American citizens, and it is important for all of us assuming we are American citizens, to put the interest of our own country first. That's where our allegiance lies, and that's where it will stay.
Obviously not, because you almost lost your job behind that statement alone. Now, let me show you his new statement that he's made. His apology. I apologize. I apologize. Oh, believe me, I do. He is apologizing now. Let me get this up here for you and hear the apology for that statement right there. Understand, I just wanted you to understand the hey bird, the infighting, and I will let you hear his. Some staff members left. Let me tell you what happened after that. Roberts said he is willing to resign, but felt a moral obligation to repair the situation, and had told the organization board of directors, "I made the mess. Let me clean it up." Uh, the Washington Free Beacon obtained and reviewed a video of the meeting. Oh, somebody had it on tape. Where he met with all the staff. If I see something leaking, you're fired. Eric Corvusall, the organization chief operating officer, said during the question and answer portion of the meeting. Well, somebody's going to get fired then, because uh, here is the leak information. Uh, while Roberts stated unequivocally in his original video that the Heritage Foundation would never cancel our friends, he said Wednesday he should have made clear there was a limiting principle. You can say you're not going to participate in counseling someone while also being clear you're not endorsing everything they said. You're not endorsing softball interviews. You're not endorsing putting people on shows, and I should have made that clear. See, the whole uh, thing was they wanted to uh, cancel out Tucker Carlson for having certain people on his shows. And now he came out with his strong, I am God. See, these people believe their own bullshit. But see, it's we, the people, who have to come up and tell them that you talking some dumb shit. You're talking some bullshit. And then, oh, what, I should have made it clear that I meant exactly what you said and not what I said. Let's watch this on YouTube. Let me watch this on YouTube. I just want you to see what is going on. Let's see the backpedaling and pussy popping of it all. Here we go. I didn't know if you guys knew this. Now, Project 2025 is stuttering all over themselves when it comes to right-wing hate against Israel, but not against the right-wing hate and the National Guards that they want to see on American streets if American citizens protest their government, which they have the right to do under the Constitution. Make any of this make sense? Everything, people are falling over themselves for everyone but the American citizens.
Because I want to make sure that I don't forget to say something that's important. And after speaking for a little while, then I will ask Eric and Andy and Derek to come up to the stage so we can take your questions. So I will not filibuster, but I owe you a conversation. And so that's how we will start the meeting. Thanks for receiving Eric's message in the spirit it's intended, which is actually to rebuild accountability and trust. That starts with me. I made a mistake, and I let you down, and I let down this institution, and I am sorry for that. Period. Full stop. And what I want to do, without making excuses for anything, is explain to you the purpose of and the process by which we posted the video. You can ask, whatever question you want. Every question is inbounds. Every critique is inbounds. You are a cheerful lot, obviously not right now, understandably, and I trust you for us to have a good conversation. And I'm grateful, and I don't take for granted, that you're still willing to be here today and to have that conversation with me. The other thing I will say is I know that the last 6 days have been tumultuous for you professionally, for you personally. Many, maybe most of you, wondering what the repercussions of all of this will be on you and your career, and even for you personally. And I understand that. I definitely understand that. And if you want to talk about that more, you want to ask more?
He want to keep his job. He want to keep his job. Roberts used his remarks to explain how the video came to be posted. This is an explanation, not an excuse, he said, telling staffers that that the think tank was under pressure to make a statement that Carlson was no longer part of the conservative movement. Okay, this is why he's making this statement.
For questions about that, all of that is inbounds too. And we'll stay here as long as we need to. So let me start with me. But let me remind you that those of you who made the decision when our former chief of staff, who is a good man, but who made a mistake, he did something wrong when he retweeted a former Heritage colleague's post. If I were in your shoes, I would have taken that the same way those of you who reposted that post did, which is that it's wrong and that you were going to speak up. And I'm proud of you for doing that. I'm not selling out our former chief of staff, who will be a friend. He is a good man, and I'll defend him on his virtue. He made a mistake too. But for those of you who believe, maybe in part because of the nature of the news cycle, that there's going to be some sort of retribution on you, that's not how we operate here. And I think if you can see through the last 6 days and remember,
the man he just referenced actually quit. There was another woman who was part of the Heritage Foundation for, I think 34 years or something like that. And she made a post that she was disgusted in him. Let's continue.
How I operate, you know, that's not how I operate. We might have differences of opinion on things, but retribution is not what we do. So let me get to the video. The purpose of it was, and this is an explanation. This is not excuses. This is an explanation. The purpose of the video, ironically, and I now know in hindsight this will sound dumb, and it was well-intentioned, which is we had a lot of dynamics, vectors coming into Heritage, some of which only a few of us were seeing, and some of which only I was seeing. And those dynamics, they weren't all attacks, were you must publicly disavow Tucker Carlson. The reason that was relevant was because we had just concluded a paid media partnership with Tucker in the summer. And that's the kind of thing we do with a lot of media figures. In fact, it's ironic.
Hold on. The link to the article and this video is in the description box. Robert said his former chief of staff, Ryan Nugas, who has since resigned, wrote the script for the video and deceived him into believing colleagues had approved the message. So he's blaming it on his former, I thought he resigned out of protest. He actually wrote the message, and he's trying to say that he wrote it. I didn't write it. If you didn't write it and you read it, are you complicit in it? I didn't write that. You know, he wrote it, and he is no longer with us. And he deceived me into believing that colleagues had approved the message. You are the ultimate approver of the message that you read as the head of Heritage Foundation. But he was deceived. This link is, I'm still reading from this article. The link is in the description box. It's the number 2 in my description box. When the script was presented to me, I understood from our former colleague, the one who wrote it, the one who they're saying resigned. I understood from our former colleague that it was approved. It was signed off on by the handful of colleagues who are part of that. Part of what? The handful of colleagues that are part of that. He understood. Did you see any signatures from them? How did you, how were you conceived? I mean, deceived. How were you deceived? Okay. Conceived. He was conceived by, his daddy, doing the do with his mama. How were you deceived? Still my fault. I should have the wisdom to say, time out. Let's double check this. So he's blaming it on the alleged person who is no longer. You notice that the other person is no longer at Heritage Foundation, but he's here blaming what he said on see, I don't give a fuck what nobody write me, especially if I'm the head of an organization. I just don't read what somebody wrote if I'm not in agreement with what was written. Because you thought that the other colleagues, those who positions and names that you didn't bother to mention, just because they believed in it, now you're and you sat up there and spouted it out as if it was your position. Now, what sense does that make? Because you thought that they believed in it, you came up there and spoke it as your own position. That makes no sense. This motherfucker is trying to keep his job, being very deceptive. Nobody's gonna make me believe, make any type of statement that I don't believe in, especially if I am the head of the organization, especially if I believe my organization need to share a viewpoint about a situation. Nobody, just because somebody hands me a piece of paper and it's just, let's just say the person did say, yeah, the other five people beneath you, they believe this way. Does that make me believe that way and make this statement? This is some bullshit. Okay, let's understand this is some bullshit. This motherfucker is trying to save his job, trying to come up here. I'm being transparent. I'm being transparent. Bullshit.
That, but important to remember, we simultaneously had a paid media partnership with Tucker and with our other friend, Mark Levin, right when they were going at it. And Heritage might be one of the few institutions on the political right that can do that. That's one dynamic. Related to that dynamic was chatter online. I would be the first person to tell you that online chatter and X are not real life, but in Washington, D.C., they become real life. And I would love, as we do our part to revitalize the good life, to remember that. Not criticizing any of you in any passive-aggressive way, which I think you know I'm not, about anything you've said online. I'm just saying that's what was coming in. And there was pressure from some high-profile people for me to make a statement that Tucker Carlson's no longer part of the conservative movement. And then another dynamic was the deep concern I have, yes, as the president of Heritage, but primarily as a dad of four, about how appealing, lamentably, the noxious concepts of anti-Semitism, Stalinism, grotesque comments, truly grotesque comments about women, which is also a grotesque way of understanding manhood, that are cached, not just on the left, but on the right. I didn't know much about.
What the left got to do with this? The left, not just on the left, but on what the left got to do with this? When do you hear anyone on the left spewing this anti-Semitic hate, flying these Nazi flags? When do you see? Anyone on the left doing that? Especially people that you guys want to pump up as important figures in your organization. When do you see that coming from the left? Both sides lie. Both sides do it lie. But you notice what he has not said as of yet. I don't know if he's going to get to it. What does he have to say specifically about Nick Fuentes? Nick Fuentes, who since Tucker, what's his name, Charlie Kirk has died, him and his large followers have been interviewed, have been platformed all over the place. his followers, they call them the gropers. What does he have about to say about them? Because this is a right wing group. While he's talking about the anti-Semitism coming from the left, he ain't said nothing about Nick Fuentes and the uh, all of these gropers that showed up and to the when Vivek Rasham, what is his name? Vivek, what is his name? Show the Vivek Rashami showed up to fill in for Tucker Carlson. All of those ropers who showed up and told him that he is has a pagan religion, and what makes him think that he could be governor of Ohio, and what God do you serve? We serve the one and only God. You know, the gropers that he is sending to all of these Charlie Kirk events. The groper who asked J.D. Vance about his wife and all of this type of shit. What does he have to say about all these people who boldly say anti-Semitic stuff? But he's talking about the left. The left don't have anything to do with this bullshit that they going through. And you see the little dog whistles about the left, but he can't be specific about anything that the left has done nowhere near comparable to what is being done on the right. That's what I want you to notice. I wonder what if he's going to say anything specific about Nick Fuentes, the thing that got you in trouble sitting up here like you pissing your diaper.
This Fuentes guy. I still don't, which underscores the mistake. I can tell you with a clear conscience and not making any excuses that those were my intentions, to fix all of that. And obviously I didn't. I made them worse.
Okay. The article goes on to say he went on to apologize for the use of the term venomous coalition, describing it as a terrible choice of word, especially for our Jewish colleagues and friends, adding that his friend, the Israeli American scholar Yoram Hazansky, the author of The Virtue of Nationalism, traveled to Washington, D.C. to help him stem the self-inflicted crisis. Stem the self-inflicted crisis. So I said I called Jewish people a venomous coalition. But I want you to understand that I have friends. I have Jewish friends. And a colleague came up to Washington, D.C. to help me stem off the self-inflicted crisis. He's still my friend. I have friends. Okay. I have black friends. I have Jewish friends. Robert took questions from the audience, including from Robert Rector, a welfare scholar who described himself as a 47-year-old veteran of Heritage Foundation, longer than most of you have been alive, he said. He harkened back to William F. Buckley Jr., the National Review founder. I hope you know who he is, Rector said. The boundaries that he set forth, William Buckley, in the early 60s were twofold. You have to expunge all anti-Semitism, all of it. But that's just part of it. The other is you have to expel the lunatics, okay? The lunatics who think that Eisenhower is a communist. And we have them back. They both are here, back just the way they were in 1959. And we have to go back and set general parameters. You say, oh, we don't cancel. We do cancel. Did we cancel David Duke? Yes. Did we cancel John Burke Society? Yes. Okay. Because they were harmful. Because if they're in your movement, you look like clowns. The issue here is Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson show is like stepping into a lunatic asylum. Okay, so that's what one of the people who challenge him on we Tucker is my friend and we don't cancel when so it doesn't look like Nick Fuentes is going to come up. Let me see.
The process by which we arrived at the video was also short-circuited. It was a violation of our one voice policy. It is part of our one voice policy that we don't cancel friends, but I'm not going to sort of shroud all of this in a dogmatic stance against cancellation culture. That's not what I mean by making that point. I'm simply saying that the process was rushed. It involved too few people. Our former chief of staff had the pen. I'm the one who recorded the video. The buck stops on the desk in my office in the 8th floor. So whatever accountability comes from this, I get, and I deserve. I'll come back to that in a minute. But when the
So you deserve it. Whatever blowback you deserve, but you want to blame it on you want to blame it on everybody else but yourself. You want to blame everybody else. It was too few people. You're the president of the fucking foundation. You were speaking as the head of the foundation, but you want to blame it on everybody else.
script was presented to me,
What about accountability? There is none. They want to tell you what you do wrong all the time as a non-white people, but they take no accountability for their own actions at all times.
I understood from our former colleague that it was approved. It was signed off on by the handful of colleagues who were part of that. Still my fault. I should have had the wisdom to say.
So why aren't you stepping down? If you don't have, if that was true, that you just ran and said something that you are trying to say that you didn't believe. So if you still read it and didn't believe it, then you should lose your job. You're trying to make excuses about it was other people who agreed on it. Somebody else wrote it, but you read it as the president and the position of the institute that you are president over. So therefore, you should lose your job. But no, we can take everything from non-white people. But we don't have to be responsible for the things that we say. It's always a oops, my bad when it comes to you and your bullshit.
Hey, time out. Let's go double check this. I do that often, and usually the office I walk to is Derek's, and I should have done that. So that's my fault. I sat and recorded the video. So the substance of the video, some of the substance, maybe most of the substance of the video, the substantive points, are things that and I think we believe. But there are a couple of pain points that I want to address specifically. If there are others you want to raise, you're more than welcome to. But these are the ones that I've been homing in on in the last few days as I've talked to our board, which has been wonderful and supportive through this process, of us as an institution, and donors and members of Congress and others, a lot of others. Number one, the term venomous coalition. A terrible choice of words, especially for our Jewish colleagues and friends who understand that, given history, to be a trope used against them. And I very sincerely, very, very sincerely apologize to you in particular and to all of you for using it.
But you knew that when you said it. You knew that when you said it. But understand, he just let you know that he knew that when he said it. But he still said it because that's what he meant. He didn't think that people were going to give him pushback, especially people in his own organization would be out on social media dragging him. But they can't drag him from all of his policies against black and brown people in the United States who built this motherfucking country. They can drag him about what he said about that appears anti-Semitic. I'm not saying Jewish people didn't help. We understand that Jewish people helped black people in the civil rights march. We understand that we have Jewish allies, but obviously they don't. They want to say all about hatred on the left while they were fucking dragging Jewish people and saying that we're not going to kick people out of our coalition, uh, uh, out of our out of our out of our ranks if they say anti-Semitic things. That's what you said. That's what you said. But the left ain't never said no shit like that. The left ain't never said. If they have, it hasn't been presented to me. I have not heard it. Let's continue.
that. It was not my intention to use a trope. I should have been better. So I hope you understand that. But
No, I don't understand that, because if it wasn't your intention, when you read it, if you didn't preview what you were reading, like I didn't preview this article, I found this article just right before I came on, and I found out about him apologizing right before I came on. If you didn't preview what you wrote as the head of a right wing a right wing institution, allegedly a think tank that wrote the playbook for what this administration is using for their policy. You want me to believe that you didn't understand that those tropes were in there, and you want me to believe that you didn't intend to use the trope? You could have read the message without us saying a venomous coalition, but you didn't want to, because that's what you believed. Because if you didn't believe it, none of these unknown people who you thought had agreed to the message would have made you say that if you didn't want to say it.
I have to be better at being aware of those things. My closest Jewish friend in the world, Yoram Hazony, has flown to DC this week in part to help me with this, personally and professionally. He does not have to do that. And he may decide after we meet later today, Robert, you're not worth it. And I told him last night I would understand. But he said, I know heritage.
Using your Jewish friend as a cloak to protect you. One of my best friends. Well, if he's one of your best friends, what made you say the shit that you said then? See, it's the bullshit. It's the bullshit. They want to use people at when it's convenient, but they want to walk all over people and try to pretend like they have some moral superiority over every other race of people. This is who this administration is getting their walking points from. You notice on the campaign trail, 4547 had no policies of how he was going to run this nation, because the policy was written up by this Heritage Foundation, this think tank. And what policy does he have? What policies are he using? What policies? They want to tell you they told you all of this when he was running. He had no policies other than deporting people, a mass deportation. That's the only policy that he had, and to bring egg prices down. As egg prices went down because the bird flu was remedied and more eggs became available, but he didn't tell you that all other prices were going to go up. Well, okay. Let me finish this.
I know you. I actually know what you were trying to accomplish, although it was really ham-handed, and I want to help you. So know that I'm not merely talking to the people who like the claim about no cancellation and so on. I'm talking to people who are real critics of this. The question, secondly, about no cancellation. Is there a limiting principle to that? I should have said that there was, especially in light of Tucker hosting not just Fuentes, but a handful of other people. I don't have time to consume a lot of news. I don't mean this as a fake attempt at lightheartedness. I consume a lot of sports. I don't consume a lot of podcasts, not even ours. So Derek tells me these are.
You don't have. I'm so unaware. I just watch sports. I don't know what's going on in the world, but I'm working. I'm making world policies. I don't know what's going on. What's going on? I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know nothing. I don't know. I don't know nothing. I don't know.
Ones you should listen to.
Get the fuck out of my face with this dumb shit.
Not because of any concern about you, but I don't consume a lot of news. And that ignorance should have told me, ask around. There is a limiting.
He doesn't consume a lot of news, but he has been able to create a think tank that created a lot of policies, presidential policies. Make that make sense. Make any of this make sense. Let's get to the question. The link is in my description box for those of you who now he brings up 3 more people to field for him to say, "Oh, well, we still okay with you, sir." Let's. It seems like he's getting some questions. I want to hear the questions. Fuck all of this. Let's see.
But I was asked by our colleagues in the education and
hands. I also have questions coming in from online. So,
thanks so much for doing this, Kevin and friends. I have many questions of my own. Kevin knows what they are. We've had private conversations, and I prefer those to stay private. But I was asked by our colleagues in the education center, because they're all remote today, so they're not here. And so they asked me to ask Kevin you this question on their behalf. And so I will just read it verbatim. Mm-hmm. Dr. Roberts, we appreciate the steps you've taken to clarify what we do not that we do not understand with Nick Fuentes. However, there is more work to be done to repair the relationships we at Heritage have with key partners in the conservative movement. Since Thursday, members of the education policy team have received numerous messages from key partners expressing their concerns about Heritage relationship with Tucker Carlson. Many have said that they cannot associate with us so long as Heritage as an institution publicly declares that we will always be friends with Tucker, even though he promotes odious and decidedly unconservative ideas and figures. We believe those relationships can be repaired if you publicly clarify that you have a personal friendship with Tucker, but that the Heritage Foundation is committed to principles and policies, not personalities. Would you be willing to do that?
Yes, and thank you, Jay, and our education team for the question. We are, as we were coming into the meeting, just a little bit of process. The answer is yes, unequivocally.
I'll do anything to keep my job. I will throw my friend under the bus. I came out and supported him because I believe it too. But I will do anything to keep my job. He will do anything. So it's a yes. I just said that the Heritage Foundation doesn't cancel anyone. But if you guys are upset, I would say that I personally don't cancel anyone. But he's canceled as far as the Heritage Foundation is considered. That's next question.
Coming into this meeting, the reason we were a few minutes late is we were working on precisely that. And we won't do the wordsmithing and workshopping here, but know that a lot of key people, yourself included, will be part of that in this next step. But know that
bitch, you doing plenty of wordsmithing right here.
That has to happen. And just to put with particularly the word always as the institution. And even the institution can say, Tucker will be a friend, but that's different than saying that you endorse everything the friend does. Some of you are friends of mine personally, and you say, well, I'm grateful to you, Kevin, as a friend, I'm grateful to you as the president of Heritage, but that was a mistake. It doesn't mean you've got to endorse that, right? So that's what we're working on. And you may want to have other things.
So this is the person that put forth the policy to deal with the nation and to say that you cannot protest your government. But he can't figure out if he's speaking for the foundation, if he's speaking for his personal friend. He can't figure out there. He's still trying to work that out. But he said that he is the intellectual part of MAGA. Make any of this make sense? You heard the first thing that he said, that he's the intellectual. He represents the intellectuals. And this is what he has to say.
Things to say, because he's kind of got the pen on this, to the point about making the problem.
Okay.
An error in the delivery is on me if I get this wrong. Kevin, I have never met you in person, but let me say I hold your integrity in the highest regard. The question is, given the stated justification for the course followed so far is not to push away the disaffected young men, so to be able to reach them and educate them, what is the plan for doing so? And if this controversy has not sabotaged this, where they will now dismiss us as saying they got to you too, when we defend the U.S.-Israel alliance, won't they just say this is just a pound of flesh? So maybe a little bit more on how we want to reach the next generation of young men that do hear a lot.
The disaffected young man. See, they understand that Nick Fuentes has the heart of these people who sit up and look for something, because the United States is not offering them anything. The United States is telling them that they should not go to college. They should not try to wean themselves off of being alone. Now, you want to talk about people sitting alone in their basement, playing video games, in on these podcasts with people spewing hate, but now they are disaffected when they come out and spew their hate and get a large following of like-minded people. So now you want to say that you want to reach these people, but no, we just want to reach these people. It's really odd that they want to reach these people that follow young people why they want to reach young people, because if they can get them under the camp, they get voters for a longer stretch of time. They get people who they can get enthused about going out and voting Republican. That's why they want to reach these young people. That's why Charlie Kirk was so important to them. But Charlie Kirk is gone, no more. And Nick Fuentes and his delusioned people are the up and comings in this administration. But you can throw out everybody else. You can throw out black people, white people. You can throw out everybody else, but y'all can't figure out how to throw them out. Y'all got to contort yourselves to try to excuse the fucking hatred that comes out of them. You know, the secret hatred that you guys know to keep inside and try to pretend that this is just strictly policy that you're doing that affects not everybody but white people. You know, they're not doing that. So, but you still want to keep them in your camp. But you do nothing to keep other races in your camp. You do nothing to actually keep other races in the whole country. Let's be clear.
A lot of noxious and odious ideas, and was a part of the original justification and motivation for.
Sure. Thanks, Eugene. Thanks for what you're doing. On that, one step of the plan is the first step, go back to Niall's point and to some extent Jay's, is to say repeatedly what we've always said, what I've always said, that anti-Semitism is abhorrent, it is evil, it has no room in the conservative movement. Stalinism, communism, as I mentioned at the top, the grotesque things about women and men, you have to say those things first, repeat them. But the second thing is, and this is where I'll have to turn it over to outreach, communications, messaging, political experts in our midst. We have to figure out how to go drive.
Political experts in your midst? Aren't you a political expert? Aren't you the president of the Project 2025 Heritage Foundation, and you're not a political expert? You're not one of the political experts. You got to hand it over to someone else. It's someone else's responsibility. I'm just the mouthpiece. I just read what people put to me on paper. Bullshit.
I have a wedge between some.
This is the bullshit. This is the bullshit. Ugh.
Of his audience and him himself. Because as lamentable and tragic and gross and evil as it is, a lot of his audience believes that it's rebellious to say those things, merely rebellious. That is obviously gross.
They're just kids. They're just being rebellious. They're just going through a phase. You know, hey, you know how they're just the bad boy on campus. They, you know, like what was it? They're just the Jets, kind of like in West Side Story. And you know, they're the Jets, but they still dance. They can still cut a rug. They're just rebellious.
Gross. But I'm convinced, looking at some of the demographics of that audience, that we might be able to convince some of them there. That's the project. I've got to leave the details to people who know better how to do that.
We got to leave the details to people who know better and how to do that. But let's see what we can do. We can actually write a whole thesis, a whole outline, a whole way of taking away people's constitutional rights. But we can't figure out how to keep the racists and out of our camp, the anti-Semitic people out of our camp. But we can. Now, these are the people who also who wrote Project Esther. Now, let's talk about Project Esther. This is also a Heritage Foundation blueprint. What's in Project Esther? Project Esther is to tell people it's how to point out anti-Semitism in our schools and institutions. But they cannot even point out, they don't even have a solution to point out and get rid of the anti-Semitism in their own movement. We're gonna have to give this to experts. You understand? But they are able to tell you how to remove people from colleges based upon something that they want to consider to be anti-Semitic. Supporting Palestinians. How to turn that into being anti-Semitic. Make that make sense. I talked about Project Esther, and that's one of the things, the big thing that Project Esther is involved in, identifying anti-Semitic people. But did you hear him? Did you hear him counsel Nick Fuentes at all? He said that they most of his followers are just rebellious, and we need to find people who specialize in this, and get these people on the right track. We cannot shun them out of the Republican Party. We cannot shun them because we need them. We need their hatred. We need this. But we just can't have them coming out loud and saying that they hate the Jews. Make this make sense. Make this make sense. Look at this fucking idiot sitting up here playing in your face. Ugh.
And we can certainly talk more about that. A question from Michael Werner, one of our very effective colleagues who is out in the field all the time talking to donors and supporters. And he asked this question in a very Michael Werner way, which is a charm and a talent. Can we expel people from our movement who think affordability is not a problem for younger American families?
Say this, Michael's a friend, and I think he will appreciate the joke. He likes to stir the pot. Love you.
What's the joke? What's the joke about affordability? He likes to stir the pot. Why is he stirring the pot when he's talking about affordability? Because that's Zoran Mandami's. That was his whole campaign cry that got him to be the mayor of New York. But I cannot say anything good about his agenda because I would be speaking well of a Muslim. He loves to stir the pot. What I will say. Well, what are you going to say that now that 4547 has come out the day after the election and say that his administration is going to change their ways, and now that their main call is going to be about affordability, as he gave billionaires the biggest tax cut in this whole fucking existence of the United States. Let's see.
Michael Werner too. I don't think we're going to expel people for saying that. I think what we're trying to do is facilitate a conversation.
Yes, thank you. We'll come back to
I think we're going to try to facilitate a conversation about affordability. This is a think tank. He has no thoughts about affordability. Make that make sense. This is the policy maker of 4547's administration. But he has no, we're going to have to develop a think tank. You are a think tank. How are you going to develop a think tank within a think tank to think about affordability? You mean to tell me nobody in your fucking organization has ever thought about affordability? You figured out a way to make billionaires richer. You figured out a way to make a tax cut and present it to your fucking ignorance who follow you every word that the Republicans say and try and actually vote for this motherfucker. But you ain't figured out a way to talk about affordability.
Question in the room. Hands are, Amy Swearer's hand is up over here. Amy will come to you. I will, if pardon me very quickly, Amy, from a few days of travel, 10 supports Kevin. And as we saw yesterday, the Democrat on the future. So thank you for that note, Tiffany.
Place in which we are to use radical candor. Dr. Roberts, you've repeatedly emphasized that these all staff names are the place in which we are to use radical candor within Heritage. So please allow me to be radically candid. I hope you don't mind. I also brought notes.
Yeah. No problem, Amy.
Sir, I know that you're a patriot. I know that you care very deeply about this nation. You care about this institution. We've accomplished some remarkable things under you.
He's a patriot. What branch of service did he serve in? He's a patriot. How? I don't know. I don't get it.
I also have every reason to believe you are a good and decent man, and I know that you're my brother in Christ. And yet, after all of the events of the last week, I stand here today with no ability to say I have confidence in your leadership for this institution moving forward. And I also know that that sentiment is shared by others in this room who, for reasons that I think are perfectly reasonable, especially given what we've seen this last week, are afraid to say that exact same thing openly and directly. But as you yourself have said, now is the time for courage. And Dr. Roberts, over the last week, you have shown a stunning lack of both courage and judgment. There's nothing ambiguous about what we saw happen. Tucker Carlson invited a Holocaust-denying neo-Nazi onto his show and then spent roughly 2 hours doing little more than flirting with him. And when our friends and allies on the right, staunch conservatives, rightly and reasonably criticized Tucker for throwing softball questions at a Hitler apologist, we had options at that point. We could have, and in my opinion, should have, joined them. We could have led from the front and lovingly rebuked our ally. Loving rebuke is an action that, respectfully, even Helen Keller could see is not the same thing as participating in cancel culture. We also could have just said nothing at all. Instead, we managed to scrape together an initial response that, at best, was equal parts incoherent, unhelpful, and naive. At worst, as others have referenced, it was more akin to a masterclass in cowardice that ran cover for the most unhinged dregs of the far right. The next 4 days, I think, for
preach, girl. You saw it for what it was worth. But you think he's a great patriot, and he is your brother in Christ. They move with this fake ass religion. You're my brother in Christ, as they sit in a think tank how to fuck over non-white people, and create policy to do it, to try to make their fucking hatred for non-white people policy, to make it rules and policy. But they want to talk about Christ. What did Christ say? What you do to the least of me, you will do to me also. But this bitch talking about her brother in Christ. Bitch, fuck you and him.
me were even more worrying because you appeared to dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge any real semblance of accountability. Dregs of the far right. The next 4 days, I think, for me, were even more worrying because you appeared to dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge any real semblance of accountability. Nothing about that seemed to indicate you really wanted the buck to stop with you. It seemed at first as though you wanted the buck to stop with your chief of staff, and only after it became clear that Ryan falling on his sword would be insufficient to quell the outrage both inside and outside of this building did we finally see you manage the courage to utter the words, "I made a mistake." And quite frankly, even if you had managed to say that 4 hours after that video, it would have been a weak response. But sir, it took you 4 days to say that. And even then, the mistake was couched largely in terms of, well, I'm sorry you guys just didn't really understand the words that were coming out of my mouth, and maybe I should have spoken better, but also maybe try to listen better this time. With all due respect, Dr. Roberts, we all understood what you said in the video and in the ensuing response. It wasn't that we weren't ready for some additional nuance. It was that little of what you said actually made sense to us. We watched you seem perfectly willing to attack all of our friends and allies on the right but say nothing about the guy who just said he dislikes nothing more than Christian Zionists, a term which he seems to use to mean basically anyone who supports Israel and includes many people in this room. And then we watched this sort of incoherent defense for days of, well, we can't participate in cancel culture, and anyone who attacks Tucker is participating in cancel culture, but also we're going to attack the people who are participating in that cancel culture, and that's not cancel culture. And so maybe I'm just a simple human, but there's not enough grass that I can touch to make that make sense. Those are not the actions of a man who knows what time it is. And frankly, I'm not even sure they're the actions of a man who knows how to tell time. And so while I am very grateful for
This
what
bitch is dragging. She is dragging. Oh my God. She is dragging this motherfucker. Even though all of this, you're my brother, she's dragging him.
have seen Heritage accomplish and for what you have done within the movement, I don't know how I can stand here with a straight face and tell you that I have confidence in your leadership. And I want to address very quickly the inevitable next question of, then, Amy, if you don't have faith in this leadership, shouldn't you just resign? No, respectfully, I shouldn't just resign, and I am not just resigning. I've been here for 8 years, and I walked into this building today more committed than ever to building an America where freedom, opportunity, prosperity, and civil society flourish. And my
resign, ho, resign. What you're in that building for is not for freedom of anybody. Bitch, resign. Freedom of white men. That's what you're there for. And you see, as disappointed as you are in the leader, you see who is the leader of your foundation, but you still think that you are doing good. When they don't even believe the shit that they say from one minute to the other. The only thing they're trying to do in your foundation is prop up white supremacy, in my opinion.
scholarship, like the scholarship of so many of my colleagues who, like me, are equally dumbfounded and astounded at what we've seen this week. That scholarship powerfully and compellingly furthers our mission. And so by resigning, we would accomplish nothing. We would only manage to hold the wrong person accountable for what, frankly, I can only characterize as an institutional series of horrible, terrible, no good, very bad, self-imposed injuries that we've seen. But I love this institution. And when this meeting is over, I'm going to go back to my office and I'm going to do what I have always done. I'm going to do my job to the best of my ability. I'm going to put on my helmet, I'm going to fix my shoulder pads, and I'm going to go be a cheerful warrior.
Understand, ho. They think you should be at home with an apron around your waist, taking care of your husband, bitch. You are not exempt. If I wish I could track her job success at Heritage Foundation. I wonder if Heritage Foundation is going to suddenly have to have a spew of layoffs. And bitch, I'm pretty sure you're at top of the list. Look at that knot on the side of his head. It is growing bigger and bigger the longer she talks. This knot right here, this knot is growing bigger and bigger.
But I don't, for the life of me, know how we are supposed to have any faith right now in the person leading this team.
Thank you, Amy. I appreciate your radical candor. I respect it.
He said, I appreciate your radical candor. Radical. He called her comments radical. That's why you got dragged. That's why she dragged your ass. But she's a stupid bitch, even though you sitting right in her face, showing her who you are, showing her that you can't believe a goddamn thing that you say or pretend to represent. But I'm going right back to my office and I'm gonna put my helmet on. No wonder you have to wear a helmet. You a slow bitch. You a bitch with a soft bones in your head, bitch. You a slow bitch. You need a helmet. And now it makes sense that you. After saying all of that, you're going to go back in your office and put your fucking helmet on. Never take it off, bitch.
Respect you. And most of all, I'm grateful that, given what you said, that you're still committed to Heritage. And I ask you to still be. So thank you.
You called her radical and you had nothing else to say. Look at your face. Look at your face. So this link, I haven't reviewed this. I will review it. If there's anything else juicy, you can review it. Also, the link is in my description box. I have spent way too much time on this piece of shit, in my opinion. Preach. I'm sick of these people. I am sick of them as well. I have not reviewed all of this. I didn't realize it was quite this long. I thought it was just a statement. But I will check the remainder of this out. That bitch drug him. She drug his ass. So let let me share some more information that I wanted to share with you. Uh, let me find it right quick, because there are some things that I definitely wanted to share with you. Okay, I talked about this earlier. Uh, 4547 is going to deny the court order to uh, disperse food stamps. So,
All right, folks, we have some truly tragic breaking news, which is that Donald Trump has now publicly declared that he intends to defy a federal court order and is refusing to pay SNAP benefits to the American people who are eligible for it, despite previously promising to do whatever the courts decide. But the courts have decided, and now he's defying them, which is going to screw over his supporters more than Democrats, and we have to talk about it. But before we do, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, this is predictable given Trump's indifference, given his callousness, given his cruelty, and given the fact that he has more contempt for his own supporters than really any Democratic politician could possibly have for MAGA. So this is what he announced on Truth Social. SNAP benefits, which increased by billions and billions of dollars, many-fold, during crooked Joe Biden's disastrous term in office, due to the fact that they were haphazardly handed to anyone for the asking, as opposed to just those in need, which is the purpose of SNAP, will be given only when the radical left Democrats open up the government, which they can easily do, and not before. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. So he's saying even though he has the means to do it, even though a court ordered him to do it, he is choosing to refuse to do it. He is refusing to give out SNAP benefits, which again, disproportionate
effect. They still believe in the welfare queen that Ronald Reagan lied about. Now, let's understand that there are more of his people that are accepting SNAP benefits. So he thinks that he's hurting the Democrats. Let that sink in. He don't give a fuck who he's hurting. I'm pretty sure somebody has come to him and given him the information that he's hurting his voters. But he's going to come out and say that he's doing this to hurt the Democrats. With the knowledge, nobody in that administration cannot have the knowledge that there are more of his voters who are going to be hurt. Regardless of what they want to say out loud, they know for a fact that they are hurting his voters as well. Don't believe that he thinks that he knows. He knows exactly who. He don't give a fuck. He does not care. The reason this government is closed is because they want to extend health care for a healthcare what are they? A healthcare healthcare. They want to extend the help that people on Medicaid were getting to afford the Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act. So without extending that, a lot of people are going to lose their health insurance. So what the fuck? If you ain't got no health insurance, yeah, shit. Just starve. Just starve. Now they're trying to conflate the two. Now he says that crooked Joe Biden gave out food stamps. You want food stamps? You want food stamps? Now the food stamps is an entire issue. Now when he already have cut food stamps in that big bloated bill. He already has cut Head Start in that big bloated bill. I heard one report that he cut food stamps over $300 billion. But then I heard someone else said he cut it over $180 billion. So I'm gonna say he's already cut food stamps between 180 and $300 billion. But he's sitting up here just yesterday trying to convince you that they need to make cuts to food stamps when they've already made cut to food stamps. If he believed yesterday when he typed this that food stamps are need to be cut because people who don't deserve them are getting them, how come that cut that he already made didn't take into account those people as well, if that's what he believes? And his agriculture secretary came out yesterday with that same bullshit lie that they want to make sure only the people who need food stamps are getting food stamps, trying to ignore the fact that they've cut food stamps in that big bloated bill that they just passed. Make any of this make sense? So there's that.
Go to red counties and red states. We'll get into all of that to try to force Democratic politicians to give him what he wants. It is staggering. Again, as CNBC notes, Trump suggests U.S. won't pay any SNAP benefits during shutdown, contradicting court filing. And as I have noted before, as Time and others have noted as well, the shutdown fight hit SNAP aid and Obamacare. Trump states set to pay a bigger price. Just as a reminder, it would be bad enough if he were screwing over Democratic voters because he sells an obligation to support them, but he's actually screwing over his own voters, his own supporters. The impact is going to be felt by millions of Americans. Some will find it tougher to put food on the table as soon as next week. Others will wonder if they can still afford health insurance for themselves or loved ones. Many will find themselves in both groups. Neither challenge is likely to be resolved soon. But many Republicans in Congress are just starting to realize their constituents are going to be hit harder than the Democrats on both sides of these issues. And what Democrats are realizing is that Donald Trump 2.0 is not the same pliable neophyte they faced in his first term, and that the disparate effects on his MAGA base is unlikely to move him. It's a mismatched understanding that leaves at least 40 million Americans watching as their meals, medical tests, and savings account all stand to be pressure tested in short order. There are two major conversations taking place among lawmakers and influence peddlers now. The first is a program known as food stamps. The Department of Agriculture says it's going to shut off SNAP's aid for November, about $9.2 billion, starting Saturday. This is, of course, like a 4 or 5 day old article. While the SNAP cutoff will reverberate from coast to coast, red states may feel it more acutely. In the 30 states that Trump carried last year, 25 of them were more reliant on SNAP than the national average. While the national average of SNAP recipients stands at 12%, an analysis for the Center for Policy and Budget Priorities showed that the deep red states like Louisiana, home to House Speaker Mike Johnson, surpassed that with 18%. Drill down a little more in these Trump states, and it's easy to imagine some of these numbers in future campaign ads against Republicans. South Dakota, home to Senate Majority Leader John Thune, has a smaller total roll, but 70% of it is for families with kids. In 29 of the 30 Trump states, the proportion of SNAP recipients with kids passes the national average of 62%. That total share under 18 nationally, that's 20 million kids. So Trump is screwing over his own supporters. And again, I want to remind you of what the Trump administration assured the American people just a couple of days ago.
So let's just start with the SNAP ruling, because 2 federal judges ruled Friday night the White House must tap into the contingency funds to partially cover SNAP benefits that expired this weekend due to the shutdown. Yesterday, the court clarified that at least a partial payment needs to be made by Wednesday. When can we expect the Trump administration to make these payments?
Well, President Trump just truthed out that he needs to hear from the courts how this is going to be done. And Jake, as you know, the best way for SNAP benefits to get paid is for 5 Democrats to cross the aisle and reopen the government.
Right, but there is this contingency fund, and as recently as September 30th, the Agriculture Department had a memo saying that these funds, the contingency funds, I think it's about $5 or $6 billion, could be used to pay these benefits. Now, it would only be 2 or 3 weeks, but that's a lot for people who need the food.
Well, President Trump as I said, President Trump just truthed out that he's very anxious to get this done, and it's got to go through the courts.
The courts made the decision, and Trump is defying the courts. It's just the bottom line. It's the brass tacks of it. Let's dive in. Again, a CNBC article. A federal judge in Rhode Island was urged to force the Trump administration to pay full SNAP benefits during the government shutdown. The request came a day after the administration said it would pay half of those food stamp costs for November. About 42 million Americans receive food stamp benefits through the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Trump suggested Tuesday that the United States will not pay any SNAP benefits at all during the government shutdown, contradicting a court ruling a day earlier by his administration. Trump said the benefits, which feed 42 million Americans, will resume only after Democrats in Congress agree to pass a stopgap funding bill that would reopen the government. The The administration on Monday told a federal judge in Rhode Island that it would pay half the cost of the SNAP benefits in November. CNBC asked the White House for clarification on Trump's statement. The social media post came shortly after lawyers for the plaintiffs in a court case challenging the administration's cessation of SNAP benefits told the federal judge in Rhode Island that the decision to pay partial benefits out of a contingency fund did not meet his prior order that any decision to make partial payments, quote, cannot be arbitrary and capricious. The judge, Jack McConnell, had told the administration on Friday that it needed to pay SNAP benefits as soon as possible out of a contingency fund, and that it also needed to investigate whether other federal funds could be used to keep the program fully funded in the absence of new appropriation by Congress. The Trump administration on Monday told McConnell that it would use $4.65 billion remaining in the contingency fund, but said it declined to use at least $4 billion from the child nutrition program to keep SNAP fully funded for November, at least. So they were already half-assed, defying the court order by saying, you told us to pay all of it, we're only going to pay half, and now Trump is saying, we're not going to pay any of it. And with this in mind, I want you to consider what Trump's pawn in the House of Representatives, House Speaker Mike Johnson, again, whose state depends extraordinarily on SNAP benefits, what he had to say about this just yesterday.
People everywhere can see clearly who's fighting and voting here every day and delivering for them. And I'll say this clearly to every hardworking American in any place who's missed.
Who's fighting and voting here for them every day as you sent them on their sixth consecutive week of not showing up? Yeah, they can see. And we see every day, every Monday, you gavel Congress out for an additional week. So the Democrat representative from Arizona cannot be sworn in the 128th vote that will ensure that the Epstein files be released. Yeah, that's what we see, Mike Johnson.
The paycheck. Anyone who is being made to suffer because the services, the health services you rely upon, or the food and nutrition supplement for your family, anyone who is hurting, you have a home in the Republican Party. You have people here who are elected.
Okay, the link is in
by their constituents to come and do their job, and they do it. They're voting to support you, to make these.
They're voting to support you. Is the lie that he tells. We do understand that the reason why this government is shut down is because, in fact, they are not supporting you. Now, let me share this with you. Saying the loud part out loud. They make sure that they give these people a voice. Scott Jennings on if he should think that people should starve.
And Trump himself are using Americans' livelihoods as leverage.
The Gulf of America is growing between its politics and its people. Just hours before food stamps expired as the government shutdown gets longer, the president and his friends were attending a Great Gatsby-themed Halloween party at Mar-a-Lago. The book, of course, partly about how the working class often pays for the misdeeds of the rich and the powerful. A quote, "They smashed up things and then retreated back into their money or their vast carelessness or whatever it was that kept them together and let other people clean up the mess they had made."
Sounds familiar? Does this not sound familiar? The rich people get all of the spoils as regular people see job losses. They see stagnant wages or reduced wages. They see their opportunity to even get health care dwindling. As your president had a Great Gatsby party, I wanted you to see this part that is included in the book, The Great Gatsby. Is this not? So, do you think that they don't realize what they're doing? As they were laughing and having a good time, and then yelling and screaming when Beyonce song came on, trying to do their white women twerking, as the same Beyonce that 45, 47 said that should be investigated because she allegedly took $11 million to show up in a campaign for Harris, a claim that he has absolutely not proven to be a fact. He called for an investigation to be done on Beyonce. But these bitches that are at his Great Gatsby party, hey, screaming for Beyonce. They just want you to shut jive and sing and dance for them, entertain them, or they have no use for you. Let's continue.
Now, the White House had resisted using the food stamp program to be paid for by emergency funds, but 2 federal judges have now ordered them to do so, and today they said that they would, sort of. It costs more than $9 billion a month to cover the 42 million Americans who are on the food stamp program, and the contingency funds only have $5 billion in it. So the administration says they're just going to pay half, and that it won't move other money to cover the rest. Now, this comes as Trump's approval rating has hit its lowest point.
We have $23 trillion on our tariff shelf. We are making so much money with the tariffs, and we got to feel what they're not going to take $3 billion off their alleged tariff shelf that they have $23 trillion. Let him tell you that is on the shelf to pay for food stamps for children, elderly, veterans, and the poor. Okay, let's be clear about that.
Of this term. And 61% of Americans disapprove of his handling of this government shutdown. I can't imagine what the reaction would have been, Scott, if another president of any party, frankly, had hosted a massive Great Gatsby-themed party at his private club in the middle of a government shutdown that is poised to be the longest ever, while millions of Americans are worried about whether they're going to get food on the table this month.
Yeah, look, I don't know what the connection is between the president's schedule at Mar-a-Lago and the Democrats continuously voting to keep the government shut down in Washington, but I guess I'll indulge the framing. I mean, the bottom line is the Democrats have voted 13 times to keep the government closed. The Republicans, led by Donald Trump, have repeatedly called for the government to be open. If you want to fund SNAP, you can walk in there tonight and vote for the continuing resolution that they have decided not to vote for 13 times. You can try to pin it on Trump, but
I gotta go. I'm running late. I gotta go. Thank you for being here. The links are in my description box. Have a great day. I apologize. I have to go. Bye-bye.